My Life Between Lives story from Newton-trained Institute practitioners.
I see a whole change in the thrust of searching for answers about who we are and why we're here. And I think it's wonderful, and I just hope the movement continues to expand.
Let us expand the universal consciousness together with a My Life Between Lives story presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Welcome to My LBL Story. My name is Ekamananda. Today we have special guest, Eric Christopher. Eric is a certified hypnotherapist. He holds a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. For over 24 years, he has been specializing in past life regression, life between life therapy, and present life deep emotional and subconscious healing. Eric's passion lies in guiding clients into the expanded states of consciousness to access their higher self and inner wisdom, helping them uncover and transform the root causes of limiting beliefs and fears. His work supports spiritual awakening, healing, and profound insight through the transformative power of spiritual hypnosis, often facilitating profound healing breakthroughs that seemed miraculous, leaving medical professionals in awe. His own path began in India at the age of 24, leading a journey that awakened a deep calling and ultimately led him to the transformative field of spiritual hypnotherapy. Today, from his private practice in Saint Paul, Minnesota, Eric continues to guide individuals into life-changing insight, clarity, and healing, supporting a return to wholeness, purpose, and inner peace. We are so blessed to be here and to carry on the legacy Michael Newton has established for us. Now, speaking of that, you trained with Michael Newton, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, he was there in flesh and blood. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit
what
more.
I can say, he was always such a humble person. And, when we do these trainings at that time, this was before online training, so everything was in person. And so it was during this 5-day training that, you just have dinners together and such. And I remember he and his wife sitting there. I'm thinking, Michael Newton, boy, I'm going to give him and his wife some privacy. But he's so humble, so friendly. I remember him saying, Eric, no, you come and sit with us. So I was able to sit and have dinner with Michael Newton and his wife and just in me. And he was asking all kinds of questions about me, always very interested. Both he and his wife were so friendly. The magnitude of his work, he was so humble. And I'll always remember what a kind, giving, loving heart he had. It was a delight. It was a delight to work with him. Now I guess at the time I guess I took it for granted, Michael Newton here. But yeah, I guess now in retrospect, I feel very fortunate to have had some personal one-on-one contact with him.
It meant to happen as he's one of your mentors or guides, and now many, if not millions of individuals' life, and he can work with us and bring the consciousness of wisdom through people's life, helping people to release the energy that does not serve them anymore.
That book, Journey of Souls, that's just gaining more and more awareness of that book. More and more people are coming to that book if they've lost a loved one, or it's just a step in helping open up their consciousness to see things from a higher vantage point. We are these souls having a human experience. I've had so many people that come across Journey of Souls after the death of a loved one, and that is what helps propel their spiritual journey.
Yes.
Eckhart Tolle often said we tend to grow the most as people and as souls on the heels of some tragedy or loss. For many people, that's what it takes to get them to start exploring the idea of, hey, are we these eternal, their eternalness or their own immortality? But Michael Newton's book does it in such a way that, and when they read that, so many people will say, he articulated things in such a way that made so much sense to me. That makes so much more sense than what I was raised to think and believe.
Having to personally guided thousands of sessions throughout your professional journey, what does reincarnation actually mean to you, or what would you interpret reincarnation?
What reincarnation means to me, I've had clients research and verify some of their lives. That's always fascinating to them and me, but it doesn't surprise me. But for what reincarnation means to me is it's basically evidence of reincarnation is evidence that we are these eternal soul beings, that we're indestructible, we're outside of time and space. We are whole and complete, You can't take a gun and shoot a soul and kill it. It's pure energy. And guess what? You couldn't separate yourself from that if you tried. You are this eternal being. It's what's animating our body. When people begin to shift their identity to the higher dimension of their being, so many fears can melt away. Adyashanti was an enlightened teacher, one of my favorites. He once said, all enlightenment is really just a radical shift in identity. People are identifying, it's when you identify with the same light, energy, and consciousness that animates everyone and in everything, and a cat and a dog and a tree and a glass of water. It's one consciousness looking through. I think as we spiritually grow and awaken, we begin to awaken to our own inner connection and our own eternalness and our own oneness beneath the surface, and how healing that will be for humanity. And the more people awaken to that, the better it is. I've had so many clients these days, like I mentioned earlier before, more and more clients I'm noticing are having that universal consciousness experience as they move higher into that soul realm, in the life between life sessions. So they get a visceral taste of it.
It's the unstoppable shift that is happening universally.
I agree. Yeah.
So wonderful to learn your journey and sharing your wisdom. Now, if you have a final piece of advice to our audience, what would that be?
A final advice: continue on this growth path. Everyone, I think every human being, not every soul, I should say, there comes a time when they begin to thirst for spiritual growth, to understand more of their spiritual nature. And boy, when you get that thirst, just keep going and keep learning and growing. And that's what we're here. One of my clients was speaking to their spirit guides one day, and their guide said something so profound, and it made so much sense. But they said, just as the body's instinct is to breathe, the soul's instinct is to grow and evolve. And that's what we're doing here. We're here to grow and evolve and awaken to who and what we truly are. And we're all on this journey to become that which we already are, and to awaken to that. A wise person said that. I didn't come up with that, but it's true. So continue to grow and evolve.
So beautiful. Continue to grow and evolve. Apart from helping individual clients, do you do any training? Are you involving in any Michael Newton work?
I think what happened after working with Michael Newton, and then I felt like I was on an island for 20 years. and I missed the first conference that we had, but I'm so glad I went to the second conference. There was something in me that nudged to go to Barcelona, and I just knew I needed to do that. And then I connected with with Michael Newton, the spiritual hypnotherapy family. Peter Smith said, how can we get you more involved? And I'm not really good. I didn't want to be at all as part of when I was involved with IART, I was part of I was on the board of directors in their co-chair for the research department. I just didn't want to be on the politics behind it. I didn't want to be as, the leaders behind the organization or anything. I just wanted to practice myself. But he said, why don't you think about being a coach or a lab coach? And so I talked to Ricardo about it. And so I've been doing lab coaching now. And this is my first year of doing lab coaching. So I just started that, really. And it was only like a week or a couple of weeks ago that we got introduced to the person that I'm coaching. So now I'm involved with that more.
You have such depth and rich, profound experience in regression and life between life therapy. That's going to be a huge bonus to the newly trained therapists, guiding them to find clarity, to learn your technique that the people don't have, and even just share your energy with them is going to be so helpful.
I just have to get up to speed with a little bit more what they're teaching now, which I'm learning. In fact, they sent me the manual of what they're learning now, and I'm kind of catching up to that and, learning. But yeah, I after doing this for 20 some years, I know it works for me, and little tips here and there I can share. And it's such a joy to be able to do that. But for me, also learning from others, I've learned so much from others as well in this last year or two. So it's such a great opportunity to share with one another. It's it's a family, There's a Life Between Lives spiritual hypnotherapy family.
Absolutely. I often feel that it's not just healing and guiding others, and it's also a very humbling experience, because it really teaches us that we know nothing. The moment you feel that next clients will bring you something totally fresh, totally new about disease, certain ailments, and it just continuously shaking us off the ego state and continuously rising and expanding in the universal consciousness.
Yeah. I guess that's a good way of saying what LBL does, Life Between Lives work, is it really helps you rise above that ego state and feel a separation, a visceral, an experiential separation from that ego state.
Yeah, I normally just explain to clients that the issues that you're experiencing, the opinions, perceptions that you carry on will be absorbed if you expand to the LBL state. And each session is actually going to be different. And so it's really, however you're ready, you're going to receive what you need.
That's right. You don't have to. Sometimes clients will come to me and they'll have all these issues. Oh, my mom died. I remember one woman coming to me, and she was 60 years old and her mother had died. And she just said, I just need to know if my mother really loved me. And it's like, I know there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to convince her of anything, but you do a past life regression and go into the soul realm. She got all the convincing she needed. She went to this higher vibration and she could understand, because she ended up seeing a life where she was in England and she had many children, but one child she's so bonded with who died early, and then she was so heartbroken that she couldn't be present with the rest of her children. And when that life was over, her soul went up high and reunited with her daughter, who she was pining over. And then she realized, oh my goodness, I really wasn't present with my children in the way they needed me to be. And then a light bulb went off and said, my mother was going through so much trauma. She couldn't be present with me growing up in the way I needed. It didn't feel like, I didn't think she ever loved me, but now I know she loves me. And she even emailed me after the session saying how transformative that was. Now she knows that her mother loves me. So it's just an example. You don't have to know how you're going to help this person, but as you go within, her own higher mind or higher guidance will show her something that is going to help be exactly what she needs to move to the next level or to get whatever healing she needs. And it's like it's tailor-made from her own higher soul self or her own higher guidance.
That story you just shared is a fantastic example of the most common issue that we experience, struggling from a relationship, abandonment, being abused. Why do we have this relationship? Why have such a horrible mother? This LBL exploration truly help people in a way that are beyond the human mind's comprehension.
Yeah, they can get a sense as to why they even chose. What were they trying to accomplish as a soul by picking their mother or father in this life? And what were they trying to accomplish? And once they see it from that higher vantage point, a lot of their own traumas can melt away.
This is so wonderful, so satisfying experience for us being in the position, holding space for others.
Yeah, it really is. It's just deep, holy, sacred work. It's a privilege to do this kind of work. And it's a privilege to talk with you and to be able to share more. And I'm certainly have such gratitude for you to have your YouTube station where more and more people can understand and learn about this really profound, sacred, healing, inner journey work.
Thank you so much for coming to our show. It sheds more light to our audience. And what you just said reminds me about one thing came through this year. We are one, not just we're one of another. So we cannot go ascend to the infinite home without leaving others on earth. That's one level of explanation. Another level is we're part of one another. It's not just we are individual bodies, we belong to one source, but also we are part of one another. I'm part of you, you're part of me. And this LBL takes you to experience this oneness.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we're part of one another to have that experience. That's well put. That's very beautifully and well put. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your stories, for your enlightenment journey, for how you have helped so many confounded souls who are, struggling. You guide them into healing and profound inner peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Ekamananda. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Maybe I'll see you at the next conference that they have, whenever that is. It might be not this year, but next year or something.
I'm sure. Go
ahead.
Okay.
Or if I find myself in Australia, I will go to your ashram.
Stay with us.
Thank you for interviewing me, and thank you for having me on your show. It was such an honor. And it's so good to meet you. You're so heart-centered, and you're so wise. And it's just a pleasure and honor to just be in your presence.
Very kind. We're learning from one another.
Yeah, we are. We are. Well, many blessings. Namaste.
Namaste.
And have a wonderful evening.
To the audience, thank you for watching. Stay in tune and see you in the next video.